Aloha everybody and welcome back to Kyle Astrology 1122, and this is going to be a brand new series for Scorpio Rising, one I've been wanting to do for a while, about the different combinations of the sun signs with your Scorpio Rising and how each sun sign is going to interact with it. So without further ado, I'm going to be a little bit biased in this video and start the series with the placement that I have, which is Virgo Sun. So the rising sign and the sun sign are both ruled by the element of fire, so it's easy to kind of get the two confused. The ascendant is not an actual planet like all of the like the sun, the moon, Mercury, Mars, and all that. The ascendant is a line. It was the sign that was on the eastern horizon when you were born. And it changes every 2.5 hours, so it's constantly changing, and so it's the most personal sign to you in your chart. Whereas the sun sign, the sun is in that sign for an entire month, 30 days. The sun sign basically represents your ego. It's where the light is the brightest in your chart. It's the sun. It's bright. It's the ego. It is. It's our aspirations in this life. It is. I'm a big belief that our sun sign has a lot to do with our relationship with our father, and our moon sign has a lot to do with our relationship with the mom. So sun sign has to deal with a lot of the more masculine sides of life, the more masculine energy and the father figures in our life, and that part of our personality. The ascendant is, in my opinion, the soul. It's because the rising sign is changing every 2.5 hours. It is the moment that your soul incarnated into the body that you're in at the very moment you were born. It's when you birthed into the world. It's your trajectory. It's your life path. It is your stamp on the world, and everything filters through the ascendant. Virgo and Scorpio, I like to say, are kind of like sister signs. They are both feminine. They're earth and water, so they're very complementary to each other. It forms the aspects of a sextile, which is a very flowing energy. They're very complementary, and they flow. If you also look at the glyph, the symbol that represents both of them, Virgo is the M that spirals into itself, and Scorpio is the M that spirals out into others. Scorpio is a very relationship-oriented sign. It wants to connect with another special individual, whereas Virgo is kind of a very introverted, analytical, processing sign. It's kind of taking all of this stuff out here and it's sifting through it inside to process all of these things that are happening and kind of spin the straw into gold, if you will. Virgo, you know, being the element of earth, is going to be stable, it's practical, it's very efficient. I think of efficiency when I think of Virgo. And so where this comes in handy, then Scorpio, being a water sign, it's emotional, it's feeling based, and it's able to it's dealing with emotions. And since Virgo likes to process, it's able to, the Virgo sun is going to be able to process all the Scorpio rising emotions, because the ascendant and the rising sign, everything filters through that, right? So our life experience as a Scorpio rising is constantly, you know, taking in all these emotions with other people and relationally, right? And so Virgo is kind of, the Virgo sun is able to take all these Scorpio emotions and process it and able to really ground it into the body. Virgo, better than any other sign, is able to take emotions and actually do something with them. And we're able to actually feel the emotions in our body and know what's going on. I know for me, if I'm, you know, dealing with anxiety or sadness or whatever it is, I always ask myself, where am I feeling, where in my body am I feeling this? Is it my chest? Is it my stomach? Is it going on in my head? You know, wherever it might be, that's usually how I'm able to sense the type of emotions I'm dealing with. They're both a very inward energy. But at the same time, they're both similar in the sense that once you're able to crack that shell, there's a very real person in there. And they're both very afraid of being hurt, and are both very deeply sensitive and feeling natured, actually. And you just have to get to that center that is not always going to be exposed to the world. So that's a lot of the pluses. So some of the more negative sides is that because these signs are so similar and they do so well together, it's easy to get in kind of a comfort zone, so to speak. So since they form a sextile to each other, it's going to be very easy to get comfortable and set in a person that has Virgo Sun, Scorpio Rising. It could be easy to have the potential to get very set in your own ways. Stubbornness is a huge thing with this placement. Scorpio rising alone or just Virgo alone is already very stubborn. But when you put this combination together with the sun and the rising, it's going to like sometimes be like a boulder that just will not move. This is a person, and I speak from experience, that is going to have incentive to do anything they do. They have to have their own motivation to do it. It can't just be because someone else wants them to. So it's going to be a combination where stubbornness and getting stuck in one's own thinking can be very problematic. They're both a very deep sign, both very analytical, especially Virgo, and then the depths that Scorpio has is going to get Virgo really kind of entwined into itself. So there's going to be this thing about going into the self and dealing with all these murky emotions, and then Virgo's wanting to analyze it and take it all apart. It can be easy to get really stuck in that. So kind of knowing when enough is enough and knowing that, okay, this is a dead zone, let's go ahead and turn around. There's no point in going any further. We've got as far with this as we need to go. So being able to look out for those kind of things. And then, of course, there's a potential to be really pessimistic. Scorpio's already got that going. Virgo's got that going. So together, that combination could be very kind of a paranoid combination, thinking like everyone's out to get you and that everyone has these bad intentions when sometimes you're just being extremely paranoid. So that is really the main gist for this combination. It's, again, a really beautiful one. I think Virgo and Scorpio go very well together, the sun sign and rising combinations. So, but also you have the things you got to look out for too. So thank you for watching, everybody. And I'm going to be doing a video on the rest of the sun sign, Scorpio rising combinations for all the signs. So keep looking out for those and leave your comments and thoughts down below. Love to know what y'all want to hear. And if y'all are interested in doing a chart reading with me, check out my website, link down below. So thank you, everybody. Much aloha and happy transiting.